Good morning, y'all. This is Candy Barone, and we are here for Coffee Chats. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you have your cup of joe, your tea, your water, whatever it is that gets you up and running. Good morning. It is Wednesday Wonder, and I am super excited not only to be with all of you. Good morning, Terry. Not only to be with all of you this morning. Good morning, Martha. But to also kick off another amazing and powerful 3-day event shortly after I talk to all of you. So good morning, Paul. Good morning, Elaine. Love that you are all jumping in. We're going to have a little fun this morning because it is Wednesday Wonder and it is our space. Good morning, Connie Joe. We are going to dance in the possibilities, and I mean dance today. We are going to put some things out there. Good morning, Jeff. Love this, love this, love seeing all these wonderful people jumping in this morning to kick off just a phenomenal day. I am already amped up and pumped as I am starting to get things rocking and rolling for my 3-day, which is kicking off in an hour and a half. So good morning, Deborah. Great to see you. Elaine and Martha, can't wait to see you both soon. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, Mateo. All right, so we're gonna jump right in because I wanna make sure that I'm really efficient with my time today, being that I do have a 3-day getting kicked off here in an hour and a half. So once again, this is Coffee Chats with Coach Candy. Welcome. I hope you are all having a phenomenal week so far. Good morning, Myra. And so, yes, let's get this party started. I am really amped up this morning, so this is great. So, as you know, this is our space. Today is the day that we get to play in the possibilities. I love that, play in the possibilities. So what I want to do is I want to kick off the conversation this morning around this idea of you have more power than you think. And so I want you to think about that for a minute. I want you to just imagine if you could tap into a fraction of the potential power that you truly have and put it out in a capacity that really leveled up the way that you are showing up, the way that you're serving, and the way that you are choosing to impact and influence others. And I don't know if any of you last night caught, and this is part of why I'm amped up. I bought into the program. I can't believe they're putting this out there. And what's so awesome is I get to bring all of this back to you. Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, and Russell Brunson last night did a live cast for 2 hours that is all about this new business blueprint that they're putting out. And it is basically everything that Tony and Dean have done over combined 60 years of experience brought together around how to show up in a space to really tap into the self-learning training platform and how we all have an impact in that. And they talked about, you know, and so many people get caught up, and some of you that are coming to 3-day, we're going to move into this space a little bit. But they talked about how, you know, everybody gets held up with thinking you have to be an expert before you can show up and train and teach, and that's so not the case. And think about a lot of what I bring to all of you. So a lot of what I bring is personal experience, is things that I have built and yes, I'm an expert in, and it's an extraction of all of the teachers, gurus, and giants that I've been so fortunate to stand on the shoulders of, where I've been able to collectively bring the information that they've researched back in a way to distill that down and make that more specialized training to communicate with you. The other way you can do that is really, you know, leveraging or lifting up other people, maybe through affiliate programs or as a broker, or you're going out and being a representative for them. And what was so really amazing about that is, as I was digging more into The Awakened Millionaire by Joe Vitale, really got into the space where he was challenging, you know, we have more power than we think. And for those of you that might watch The Secret, you notice that they talk about if we would tap into our, good morning, Terry, tap into our potential power, we could individually light up, no matter the size of the city, light up a city for at least a week by ourselves alone. So now imagine, and this is the big space I want you to dance in. And this is where I get so fired up and juiced up for the conversations we have every morning, because these conversations, whether you believe it or not, are lifting and raising the level of consciousness in our world. We are collectively raising the energy and vibration, and we are raising that level of leadership. And so I want you to think about the magnitude and the opportunity inside that power. And so here's the big imagine if. I want you to think about when you have a large group that comes together and holds positive intentions, the intentions radiate out and become that reality. So as soon as I heard that, and as soon as I start digging into that space, and I don't know how many of you, and you know I love to relate everything to either Friends episodes or cartoons. So this morning I'm going to relate it to a cartoon. one of my favorite cartoons growing up, and I'm going to date myself here a little bit. I used to bowl every Saturday. It was a military thing. I was a military brat, for those of you that don't know. So I moved around a lot, and bowling was a really big thing we did. It was a way to connect, because I mean, I moved every 4 years, and so you were always bowling. You bowled every Saturday morning, and then if you were really, you know, a geek in that space, you did traveling and some other things on Sunday. And so I bowled from first grade all the way through senior year of high school every Saturday morning, without fail. That's what I did. That was how I grew up, military brat. And so oftentimes I would be up before we would leave to go bowling. We'd usually bowl like 9 to 11. And I would watch Saturday morning cartoons. Remember when Saturday morning cartoons were actually like cool, and they weren't so violent, and they weren't so, I don't know, you watch things like, well, I suppose I say they weren't so violent, but then I watched things like Roadrunner, who he was always having accidents and, you know, getting run over and things like that. But one of my favorite cartoons, and I know this is, you know, it doesn't even matter. One of my favorite cartoons was the Care Bears. I loved, even as a kid, the concept of the Care Bears. So for those of you that haven't watched the Care Bears, you remember that they all had their own individual emblem on their belly. It was basically their core space, right? One of them had a 4-leaf clover, one of them had a heart, one of them had a smiley face, one of them had a rainbow, one of them had a flower, one of them had, I mean, every single Care Bear had a different emblem on their core space, right, on their belly. And so while they were powerful in and of themselves, so if they ever needed to like save something, or they had to go in and create an opportunity, they would shine, they would push that light out of their belly, out of their core space, to help heal. But what was so powerful, and this is the imaginative space, and I'm totally geeking out as I think about this, yes, took lessons as well from cartoons. Oh my gosh, it just is amazing. And so Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner, absolutely. So I want you to think about, do you remember when like the really bad guys would show up? And the way that the Care Bears cartoon would always end is the Care Bears would line up together, they would hold hands, and they would all shine their light from their belly at the same time. Like they would absolutely tap into their personal power. They would tap into, and if you don't believe me, go out on YouTube and watch one of the, go see Care Bear Stare. Just type it in, it's amazing. I'll drop it in the thing as well. But what they would do is each one of them would tap into their personal power, but they would link hands, link arms, connect together, and push that Care Bear Stare out. And what happened was the energy, the raising the level of consciousness, the positivity, the vibration would be so big that they could blast away any wrongdoing, any bad, any evil. And it just always makes me think, we have that same capacity as human beings. And so I want you to think about for a minute, as I'm getting all worked up and all kind of like fired up. Let's see, Care Bear homework for today, ladies and gents. Yes, so like the Power Rangers. Yes, I love the Power Rangers too. That was my brother's favorite show. I love the Care Bears, he loved the Power Rangers. And I always thought I had the little heart on mine. But the Care Bears did, right? And so think about, imagine for a moment. And this is where, and for those of you coming in the 3-day, I am fired up, I'm telling you. I want you to imagine if we could create the human version of the Care Bear Stare. What would that do? What would that effectively look like? What would that feel like? And I think about all of us jumping on this call every morning. I think about the fact that you are honoring not only me, but yourself and each other by showing up every day and engaging in these conversations. And think about that. We are priming, we are really, you know, working through that space of being able to connect together and create the human version of a Care Bear Stare. It's fun to watch cartoons as adults and see the messages that they give. Yes, it's one of the reasons I love Disney so much, is because the way Disney's created is they create messages where the kids can connect, but there's such adult themes in every one of those. There's really heavy themes oftentimes. There's themes about diversity, inclusion, there's themes about judgment and criticism, there's themes about knowing your own personal power and stepping into that. And so I find that the most well thought out cartoons usually have such powerful messages, and watching them as adults, you connect into something else. And my mom likes to make fun of me. I remember when we watched Frozen together. I am such a Disney freak. And we watched Frozen together, and I got done and I was like, oh my God, there's 3 themes that I could be teaching using this cartoon. My mom just looked at me and she said, can you not watch a cartoon and not come up with a whole training sequence afterwards? And I'm like, probably not. because everything I watch, I could tell you I have like training I could pull from Trolls. I could pull training from Frozen, from any of the princess stories, especially the newer versions of Cinderella and some of the other things. But there's always a message to be found in there. And I want you to really think about the Care Bear stare. So let's think about, let's play for a minute. What would it look like? Imagine if we could create the human version of the Care Bear stare. How awesome would that be? And so I want you to dance in that a little bit as I'm going to feed you with a little bit of extra stuff, is that hopefully you guys weigh in and share some thoughts about what maybe you're imagining as you think about our capacity. What would be your unique light if you were to put it out there? If you were to think of yourself as a Care Bear right now, and what would be that light? What would be the emblem on your belly that would say, this is my individual Care Bear stare, and I'm going to align myself with all of the other Care Bears so that we could create something that's this amazing force field? Because I want you to ask yourself some questions as you're kind of dancing in this space. I want you to ask yourself, am I living in fear, or am I living in trust and faith? Am I coming from fear, or am I coming from faith? Am I focused on the negative, or am I doing something to create a positive? We have a choice in every single capacity that we can get sucked into everything that's going on in the world right now, or we can choose to change the energetic field around us, thereby changing the energetic field for everyone else. And positive energy, I've said this a million times, is far more powerful than negative energy. And I personally don't care if people want to call me Pollyanna Sunshine, which was a nickname I had as a kid. I don't care if they, good morning, Dennis. I don't care if they are in a space to say, seriously, Candy. I used to have an instructor in college who used to tell me all the time I looked through the world through rose-colored glasses. And it was why I love the transcendental period, Emerson and Thoreau and some of them so much. And I said, you know what? I am not going to change that. I want to look for, and I remember Abraham Lincoln saying, if you look for the bad in people, you shall surely find it. If you look for the good, you will find that instead. Or however he said that. And so whatever you choose to focus on, you're going to bring about. And I believe that there's so much opportunity in humanity right now. I believe that there's so much opportunity for us to step forward. Oh, I love that. I love that yours would be a sunflower, Martha. How awesome is that? So I want you to think about for just a minute what that might look like. So I'd love to hear more about what would your Care Bear stare look like? What would your emblem be? So Martha's is a sunflower. What about the rest of you? And imagine if we created that human force field, that human version of what a Care Bear stare looks like. Because what I want you to realize is you always have a choice. And the opportunity is do it anyway, no matter what shows up, what fear. And so I want to read this to you. Where are we at? Sure is, and if it is to be, it starts with me. Absolutely, I love that. I am all about if it starts with, if it's meant to be, and Dale Carnegie was a big one around this, if it's meant to be, it starts with me. There is nobody else. It's the idea of where there's a will, there's me. There's not a way. Stop waiting for somebody else to give you permission. Stop waiting for someone else to say, here's the way, here's how you go about it. If there is something that you can effectively change, do it now. And so I want to read a passage. Terry, mine would be pom-poms because I cheer for people and the amazing lies inside of them. Imagine if we could share our light and eliminate the loneliness and disconnection people feel that leads to so much negativity like the next mass shooting. Absolutely. Imagine if we would start to connect and communicate instead of complain and commiserate. We walk around talking about how miserable and how overwhelmed and how stressed we are and how busy we are. We are not having real conversations. We are not engaging with each other. We are not looking people directly in the eye and saying, I see you, I value you, I respect you, I love you, even if it's just as a fellow human being. And we are missing opportunity where all of us right now could level up that game and allow ourselves to play in a more purposeful space, to connect, to communicate, to build love bridges. Yes, I just said that, love bridges, and to create that human Care Bear stare. So what I want to do is I want to read you, this is the Paradoxical Commandments written by Dr. Kent Keith. And some of you have heard this, but I want to read this because this is what I want to settle in for today and really have you think about this. Imagine if we created the human version of a Care Bear stare. So people are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The biggest men and women with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smallest men and women with the smallest minds. Think big anyway. People favor underdogs but follow only top dogs. Fight for the few underdogs anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help but may attack you if you do help them. Help people anyway. Give the world the best you have and you'll get kicked in the teeth. Go give the world the best you have anyway. And so I want you to think about, I know you may feel you're thinking positivity may be a waste of time. Do it anyway. I know you feel that your efforts are insignificant at times. Do it anyway. I know you may wonder if group meditations will really work. Do it anyway. I know you may doubt if prayer will help. Do it anyway. And this is our opportunity to do it anyway. I'm coming out of really a messy situation where I had a client who probably was, let me not even say probably, should not have been a client of mine. And coming out of how I was attacked in that space doesn't stop me from showing up and doing it anyway. Simply because that person was the wrong fit, wasn't ready, can't see the opportunity before her, doesn't change the work that needs to be done and who needs to be impacted and influenced in that space. And so everything that keeps showing up lately is a constant reminder that there is no option in playing small. I think about Brene Brown talking about being in the arena. Everyone's a judge and a critic that's not in the arena. Those that choose not to get their ass kicked and handed to them, because when you're in the arena, you know that that is an absolute. You show up and get in the arena anyway. And that is our opportunity. That's our opportunity to connect and start to change the energy for humanity right now. It's to show up anyway. It's to serve anyway. And it's to do it anyway. And it starts with us creating that collective Care Bear human stare, which I just think would be phenomenal. And it's what we're doing now. It's what we do every morning. I love this. Oh, awesome. To Elaine, mine would be a flame. Oh, I love that, Myra. As the phoenix of change and transformation. Oh, that's beautiful. Everyone needs a cheerleader. The movement I'm driving, see me rise. Yes, Tara, I just thought of you when she said phoenix for teens as a phoenix. Jeff, I think mine would be a mountain. Constant challenges that has a reward peak, lead people upward. Oh, I love that. I love how you guys are thinking so big and thinking creatively. And I want you for today, I want you to play in twofold. One, I want you to imagine what, not if, imagine what or who or how you represent your individual Care Bear stare. I want you to think about your personal emblem, and I want you to deeply connect to it today. I want you to think about what are those words, what are the things that say, this is who I am, this is how I want to show up, and this is how I can, as just me, affect change. And so I want you to think about what your emblem is. I've heard a phoenix, I've heard a flame, I've heard the mountaintop, I've heard the sunflower, the pom-poms. What would your emblem be? So imagine that space today. Dance deliciously and purposely in that space today. And then I want you to think about, imagine if. I want you to really give some visualization and energy and some play space. Yes, play space. Dance today in the space of imagine if we created a collective Care Bear stare from a human standpoint. What would that do? What would that effectively change? And who do you want as part of your Care Bear army? Who do you want aligned with you? Because it was Jim Rohn that said, you know, you are affected by the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? So choose wisely. Who's going to be your fellow Care Bears? Paul, I love that. I am powerful. I am authentic. I love those words. We're going to get into a space where I'm going to help you with your standards of integrity, and we're going to do our 3 words as well. I am powerful. I am authentic. Think about those I am statements. How do you want to represent yourself? Mateo, mine would be water. Like Bruce Lee, be like water. Flow. Yes, wash away the bad behaviors. Water the crops. of fertile thinking, freeze to store water for later. I love that. I love that. It's one of my favorite quotes by Bruce Lee is be like water, my friend, which means that you are soft, you are in flow, you can transform and take shape. You can, and again, going back to a cartoon, if you guys remember the Super Friends, there was the Wonder Twins. Wonder Twins activate, form of a ice bucket, right? And so think about that. When you are nimble, when you are soft, when you are able to flow, you can mold yourself into any space so that you can effectively be the person or the resource or the energy that's needed to fill that gap, to create that change, to be that catalyst. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. Thank you for such an awesome message. I got to head to a meeting. Have an awesome day. You too, Dennis. Great to see you. And for the rest of you, I am so excited that you're all here. Thank you. Candy, are you still the heart or do you have something else now? No, mine is still the heart. I really think the heart is, it speaks to me on so many levels. And I love my heart. Either that or a butterfly. I'm all about helping people through transformation, and the butterfly is my spirit animal. So I don't know, I might have to think about that. I might have to change mine to a butterfly because mine really, that is such a powerful space for me. And I even woke up this morning and there was just something about the space of, I really feel more like a transformational coach than a life or business coach. And so the butterfly might be where I have to, maybe it's a butterfly with a little heart on its antennas or whatever. Good morning, Sarah. Welcome, welcome. Kathy Smith is one of my Care Bear Army soldiers. I love that. Yes. Who are your Care Bear Army soldiers? I love that. Who are your warriors? Who is your front line? And I want you to think about, imagine if and how you could all come together. And I think about all of you showing up every morning. You are part of my Care Bear Army. You are part of, and we call it Camp Candy, right? You are part of this space where we get to move forward on a mission and really put that love, that grace, that kindness, that compassion, that energy out to effectively create massive change in the world. And so I cannot, oh, a spider. I love that. I cannot thank you all enough for joining me every day. I just absolutely love the space that we've created, and I just love all of you. And so thank you so much for continuing to show up every day. I hope that gives you a little fire, a little boost for today. I hope you'll go out and shine your Care Bear light for the world to see, and align yourself, create your army, find out who's in your front line, and go imagine amazing possibilities. Thank you. Yes, thank you. You're so welcome, and stay awesome as well. I love all of you. Now I'm gonna get all round up and raring to go for my 3 days. So I will see y'all tomorrow. Mwah. We will do a little thankful space, a little gratitude, and until then, shine, 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 shine. Shine your light, my little stars and my little Care Bears. I will see you all tomorrow.